Congrats if you won a chip. And listen, if you didn't lick those wounds and stay vigilant, be ready to roll in August. It takes a lot to bring home a championship, but everybody can't win it. It's going to take some skill, but also a fair amount of luck. If you followed the process and it paid off, tell a friend. On to this wild card slate. Chargers at Texans. I think Los Angeles can go on the road and win this one. I expect Stroud to struggle against this defensive unit of the Chargers, and he may even turn it over early, as he has been prone to do this year. Nico Collins is a nice play. I think the Texans will be trailing. No real interest in Mixon on the ground, though. Both ground games have an uphill battle, and in fact, a lot of running games this weekend had stiff defenses in front of them. McConkey is a solid play, though, and as I referenced, DraftKings, just know I will play some of the micro slates, but my DraftKings picks will be for the overall 6-game slate lasting from Saturday to Monday. Herbert could be okay in theory, but there's better value at QB this weekend. I don't want to get over-invested in this game, if that makes sense. I think the Chargers can dominate and run clock. Bolts on the road. Steelers at the Ravens. No love lost here, ladies and gentlemen. The third battle between these two this year. It's going to take everything a team has to win this game. No Zay Flowers for the Ravens, but Lamar will still figure this thing out. Nelson Aguilar is a nice punt at $3,400 this weekend. Don't fall in love, though. Lamar can make the most of his opportunities by hitting the tight end this weekend. Andrews is a fine play, but I'll play likely if I were to pick between the two. I don't mind the idea of stacking the two. Steelers are a little tougher on the run, so I don't think King Henry sets the tone for this one, but he does have the chance to put the nail in the coffin late in the game. I'll fade him in favor of Saquon Barkley this weekend, though. Meanwhile, Russ looks like the best value, and he will be very popular on DraftKings this weekend at $5,300. He does let you fit in quite a few higher price guys, so he will be heavily owned. Freiermuth is a solid play, and if I want to reach, it'll be with Calvin Austin at $4K this weekend. Pickens is fine, but for a couple $100 more, I could just play McConkey, who I feel much better about. Lamar will take over, and I think home field advantage helps decide what I expect to be a close game throughout. Baltimore Ravens win this one at home. Broncos at the Bills. Strong winds and cold weather is on tap for Sunday's wildcard game in Buffalo. The Broncos are no stranger to the elements as far as snow goes, but if it's super cold, that is another story altogether. Home field will play a role here, and the Bills could be running a lot of clock with Cook and Davis, the running backs. Khalil Shakir also in play this weekend, and he's well priced at $5,200. He won't make it into my main lineup, but I will have smaller satellite lineups for the 1 and 2 game slates, and so I will play him somewhere. The Bills can win this game, and Allen is always a threat. I'm not sure how much he will need to do in this one, though. For the Broncos, I do like Sutton and Mims, as I expect Denver to be chasing. The run game is not in a bad spot, but between trailing and inclement weather, I am a bit concerned. I think Sutton gets into my main lineup, though. That's great value. Nix is a fine play, but I do like other QBs overall this weekend, so I probably don't get there at $6,300. But if you want to, God bless. I got Buffalo here in a nice tune-up. Packers at Eagles. The green machine is ready, set, go, and I do not mean Green Bay. The Eagles need this win. They haven't had the cleanest end of the year, but all that is behind them now. Packers can play some decent defense in the secondary, so it seems to be a tougher matchup for Smith and Brown at wideout, Devonta Smith and Brown at wideout, but Goddard is in a decent spot. I expect him to have a solid afternoon that could culminate in a trip to the end zone. He's finely priced, but I would rather play the likes of Likely. See what I did there? But it's really all about Saquon Barkley on Sunday. He's in a tremendous spot. I expect him to carry the load here. I would be extremely concerned if I was the Pack. And Green Bay can't afford to let the game get away from them. They'll need to keep it close and play balanced ball to do that. However, I just don't have faith in Love. His mechanics are wanky, and that's only going to carry you so far in today's NFL. I want no parts of this run game, but perhaps the receivers can find some room. After all, they should be chasing. I would side with the Philadelphia defense, though, over the Packers here, and I will play that Philly D. I know they've not been the best against the pass, but I do expect this unit to tighten up now. that it's crunch time, and I'll take the Eagles at home in a game where I expect the Packers to simply be overmatched. Commanders at the Buccaneers. According to Vegas, this is where we're going to see some points, y'all. Baker has been cooking all year, and the Bucs defense is playing terrible, so the opponent always has a chance to put up some numbers. Never mind that the opponent is Jaden Daniels, who basically is fresh off of a 5-touchdown come-from-behind victory against the Eagles. I will get exposure to Daniels. That was 2 weeks ago, a couple of weeks, not last week. I will get exposure to Daniels on the smaller slates. But I like him, and McLaurin is fine also. Olamide Zaccheaus is in play. I love him as a nice paydown option at $4,400. Really, all the passing elements for Washington are considerable this weekend. On the other side, we need to lean into the run game. I think folks will be tempted to roll with Baker. I want exposure to White and also Irving, but I do favor White this weekend. He's fresher and barely being involved last week. He's a little bit fresher, but also he does offer a lot of upside in the way of pass protection. Need that pass pro. There is at least one lineup where I will have both of these backs, but again, if I'm asked to pick, I'll take the cheaper White, who is just $5K this weekend on DraftKings. Now, I do want some exposure to Baker and Mike Evans. I'll have them in one tournament lineup at least. I love Cade Otton this week. He's questionable, so make sure he plays, but should he suit up, he's a top play at tight end this week, and he's only $4,100. At this point, Baker is a grizzled veteran, and he will make sure his team shows up for this one. But I have to go with the Commanders here. Their defense is just a bit better, and Jaden Daniels has already proven to be a serious differentiator this year. We can point to some games this year that he has won personally himself. The Bucs D is too bad. I got to take the Commanders on the road because that Bucs D. All right, and Vikings at Rams. Finally, Monday, the Vikings will be playing the Rams in Arizona due to the fires here in California. Shout out to all Angelinos. We're going to make it through and come out strong, y'all. Shout out to the fire department and especially the badass dudes doing water drops over the fires. Some real clean drops that saved so many of us from needing to evacuate. Which Viking team will show up on Monday? We don't know who these guys are from week to week. If they are to win, this is a week where Darnold and Jefferson would show up. They are in good spots, and Addison also has a case. Hutchinson in play also. Sam Darnold needs to shoulder this one. I'm not too invested in the run game of the Vikings. They should have an easier time passing, and I would expect that they would need to, as I expect the Rams to be able to put up some points on Monday. I like the Rams pass game also, specifically Nakua, but yeah, Kupp is also in play. These teams are more even than people care to admit, and to be quite honest, I've got the Rams winning this one at home. The Vikings are winning this one in Arizona. The Vikings can play a bit soft in the secondary, and this Rams team has the weapons to make them pay. I'll take Stafford and co. to upset the Vikings. Good luck this weekend, everyone, and let's meet back here next week and learn, scout, win, and repeat.